wanted to make an updated video on to which adventure bike I have chosen. And as you can see, I'm riding a Tenere 700. The reasons that I picked this bike was I wanted something that would be comfortable to tour with. I felt this motor had more a relaxed feel to it with all the videos that I've seen on YouTube. So I kind of, that was one of the reasons. The other reason is the wind protection and the seating position. I also feel that the Tenere was going to have a better touring component to it than the KTM. Now right out the gate, I would say there's a big difference between the Tenere and the KTM 890 Adventure R. The 890 Adventure R is truly ready to race. And I gotta say, I'm very impressed with that motorcycle, and part of me kind of regrets maybe not purchasing one. Like I said, part of me kind of regrets maybe not purchasing the KTM. However, there's a huge value here. I got this bike for like $4,500 less than the KTM. And yeah, it's got some stuff that needs to be addressed. I mean, it needs a skid plate, it needs crash bars, it's gonna need bark guards, probably a seat. I think the clutch on this isn't as smooth as the KTM, so I might do that one-finger clutch from Camel ADV. If I had to give the Tenere a slogan or a one-liner, it'd be ready to tour. And that's kind of why I went with this bike. So anyways, I just bought it. This thing's got, I don't know how many miles on it, under 100. And I've just rode it home yesterday. It's been very hot where we're at. And so I'm gonna take it for a little tour today. I'm gonna take it on some twisties, and I'm gonna take it to our OHV area. And I'm just gonna putt around a bit on some of the fire roads. I'm not gonna take it too extreme because I have the stock tires. And also I have no crash protection, and I don't want to mess up my new bike. You know, this bike still feels like a big motorcycle. And I can feel the weight is up high. However, it's not bad. It's I've been pushing around the garage and stuff, and with it against my hip, it doesn't feel gargantuan. And that's kind of encouraging. I want to do some BDRs and some stuff that could put me into multiple states, and I just don't think a smaller motorcycle could do that without really beating me up. So I went for something I thought that would be more balanced. And also, you know, I'm at the age where I don't want to be always wanting to feel like I got a haul butt, and I feel like the KTM just kind of tells you go for it. And I feel like the Tenere is like, I can do whatever you want to do. The reason I bought the Tenere also is because going into adventure riding, I'm not completely convinced that it's my thing. The bikes just might be too heavy, in my opinion, for technical off-road. And at least with the Tenere, I haven't, threw so much money at something that's an unknown. And so I like that. I like the fact too that it's sitting in my garage. It's not like it's costing me a fortune. And also the cost of ownership. I mean, I just found out about the 600-mile service. It's only $300. Right out the gate, I like the motor. It's smooth. And it's just very relaxed. It's not picky on what gear to choose. I like that. Ergonomics, I feel like the bar position's in a good place. The levers aren't as nice as the KTM. And the shifters, I've got my dirt bike gear on, so I'm kind of wanted to see how the shift lever relationship to my feet is. Feels like the shift lever's a little close, but I think I'll get adjusted to that. I probably will try to get a bar that sweeps a little bit more towards me. I feel like the bars are a little, I don't know where to look for it. Perpendicular mount, or square. But it's got a really nice engine, and it rolls on with power. It's just really fun. It's not scary. It's just very predictable power. brakes are definitely, what's the word, lackadaisical or relaxed. The rear brake is pretty soft, so I would say you kind of have to be aware of your braking distances. It's not nearly as aggressive and as, you know, exacting as the KTM. Standing position is way more relaxed than the KTM. I mean, I'm standing up and it's very neutral. I mean, I kind of like it a lot, actually. It doesn't feel, you know, aggressive or I'm too hunched forward or my neck's out of position. It's very relaxed and very comfortable. Another reason I picked this bike is that it doesn't have all the electronics. You know, I tend to ride by myself. And for better or for worse, I need something that I know is not going to slow me down with some, you know, malfunction software or a poor connection. I mean, lessons I think more on this bike. I wish it had cruise control. Another thing is wind protection. I like this bike better than the KTM for on-road comfort. Actually, the tank being up high, a lot of the wind just goes around your body, and then this rally style windshield and setup is just it's nice. And I think I'm probably going to get the tweed clamp-on thing, or maybe the adjustable windshield risers. I really like this motor. It's just so relaxed. I don't feel like I'm in a hurry at all, and it feels like it doesn't care. So I haven't touched the clickers at all. These are the stock tires, stock air pressure, everything. So this is really just a off the showroom floor ride. This thing does have a cable throttle. What I like about that is if something goes wrong, you kind of know what it is. It's something you can replace, carry the extra ones if you need to, and it's not electronic. So I'm actually really happy about that. I'll say this bike feels a lot more like my GS than the KTM did. The seating position is very BMW-ish. The cockpit feels more like a GS. It's got good power. Alright, well here we go. First time off-road on a Tenere 700. And I understand that this is pretty vanilla, but just everything's stock, so I'm a little leery about going cray-cray with the bike, brand new. The thing is super comfortable in an upright position. Almost perfect right now. Bars might be a little low, but I'm not sure I would raise it. This doesn't feel as neutral as or as nimble as a KTM 890. But it's not bad. I think part of it's just getting adjusted to it. It's got some grunt. You can definitely break the back tire loose, but it's not absurd. It's not over the top. It's kind of fun. It's very flush though. Like, I don't feel these bumps at all. Okay, here we go. Here's a little bit of a bump. Let's see that. Not bad at all. Very nice. Yeah, that back brake sucks. You know, its center of gravity is pretty good. I like it. Definitely your riding skills will show on a bike like this, because those rider aids, the 890 kind of saves you from yourself. I'm starting to get used to the brake a little. You really got to step up on it. growing on me a little bit. It's pretty good off-road. Rear brake, I might have to adjust it up a little bit to where the throw is. Because what's going on is it's there. It's just the throw is way down. It doesn't like really engage until you're really down. And so standing up, I'm having to bend my ankle quite a bit to get it to engage. But this thing's really comfortable off-road. The standing position, I feel like you could ride on this thing all day. Even the foot pegs aren't bad, the stock ones. Glad I'm wearing my dirt bike gear today. I'm riding a full motocross boot right now, and it's fine. It's doing okay. Yeah, you can tell that there's no slipper clutch on this bike. They're in there brake free on you. Got to be kind of cognizant of that. Oh, it's pretty good. It's not a trials bike, and it's not a dirt bike, but it's pretty nice. I can see why guys like these bikes. This thing's so relaxed. Like, I'm just out here and I'm just in second gear, and it's so, power's just so mellow, and it's so good torque. I mean, that's nice torque. I don't feel like I'm overdoing it. You know, I don't feel like I'm stressing the motor. And yeah, no, it's great. It's actually a really nice bike. This is what real fire roads look like. And it's pretty good. This rough stuff, it's not harsh. It needs to be adjusted because it's a little clunky on the really rough stuff. Okay, this is I don't want to drop this bike. I'm not going to drop this bike if I'm not careful. All right. Got good power, and it did that okay, and it actually feels pretty light for how big it is. I just got no protection on this bike right now, so I'm a little gun shy. Clutch is a little hard for one finger, and the throttle is a little choppy off the bottom. It needs to be modulated a bit. The clutch does. First gear is pretty low. I think it's a little smoother in second, which kind of makes sense. First gear seems pretty low. Yeah, I got myself a Tenere 700. I wish KTM would take a hint from what mere mortals want. And if KTM made one of these, good wind protection, more plush suspension, with all the 890R great stuff like ground clearance, just controls and stuff, I would be all over that bike. All right, let's go with this. Plenty of power. It's very linear. It's not like over the top. The KTM, I mean, it'll really go crazy if you wanted to. This is a little bit more just straightforward. Oh, look at that, guys. I'm just going to give this a second. Shoot, you can even have an adventure in your backyard. Alright guys, see ya. Yeah, the suspension is really plush on this bike. I'm not getting beat up at all. And the standing position is pretty nice. Now I will say I have to lean forward a little bit. But even with these street tires, I'm going up this just fine. feel the back end, you know, slip a little bit in the front end, because this is kind of loose stuff a little bit. You definitely got to ride with the pegs on this bike a little bit. I think bigger pegs would be nice. Body position on this is a little bit more important than, let's say, the KTM. The KTM's a lot more exact. But this isn't far away. You know, if I get the right protection on this thing, I actually think it's going to be a great bike. And you can ride it with the pegs. I can see where a lighter clutch would be kind of nice. Yeah, that's nice. That's not hard at all. I mean, it's not as kicking the pants as the KTM. The KTM would just want to tear that all over the pits. But it's kind of nice. Definitely capable machine. All right, we're going to go up this. That's nice. Suspension's soaking that up pretty good, actually. I mean, as long as you're not hauling ass, this thing's pretty good. I'm actually more concerned about coming down this because that rear brake sucks. So probably coming down this thing very slow. But going up it, not a problem. I do feel like the comfortable seating position on the hill climbs is a little bit more work. Because you kind of run out of room to go forward because the bars are so far back. Something really steep, it might be kind of hard. But it's plugging through this. Crash bars, I think I'd be willing to do a lot more with this. Because it definitely tells you that it can do it. This bike rewards good riding ability. The better rider you are, I mean, look at Polteras, you know, I think there's enough said about that. Sorry for the wind noise, there is some, but this bike's pretty sick. It's a lot more nimble than it looks. And I'm not afraid to take this in the desert. I'm not afraid to take this up any of the BDRs, and I'm not afraid to get lost. All right, well, I don't have much to say as far as negatives go on this bike. Definitely does need to be outfitted, but all in all, it's a pretty nice bike, and it feels like a good all-around motorcycle. I'd say the T7 feels a little bit easier with the amount of fuel that's in it currently to put a foot down and to find the kickstand. It's a little bit easier than the KTM, and I appreciate that. I'm a short guy. So far, I don't have a ton of complaints on the stock seat. My biggest complaint so far, oh, I had ABS. Let's do the, all right, we're gonna start it. I realized I just had ABS on the whole time. That's kind of a good test. It's not that intrusive. Okay, so ABS off-road is on, so that means there's no ABS. It's all user input. It's not too difficult to navigate over rough terrain. It actually feels pretty light through all that. I mean, it feels like a big dirt bike. Not a big fan of the back brake right now. I don't feel like I have a lot of utility there, and as an off-road rider, the back brake's pretty important. It's there, you just gotta really be deliberate with it. I think adjusting it up would be a good idea. Because the first, I don't know, half of the throw is useless, it's just air. Front brakes are pretty good. You know, I go back to, I don't think I would be hauling ass down a hill on this bike anyways. Are they one finger? Definitely a little slower to make it happen. So if you want to stop fast, hang on. Not going to happen. But I don't know, on a bike like this, I think a line choice and navigating the terrain methodically is kind of wise anyways, because you really don't want to get out of control on a motorcycle this large, because when it goes down, it's going to really hurt. Say that I could feel the passenger pegs a bit on the back of my legs when I was kind of navigating, you know, when I was standing on hill situations. So I will definitely be pulling the passenger pegs off, because I personally think they're actually kind of dangerous. But it's pretty easy to balance this bike, actually. Yeah, this bike's nice. This thing will go slow pretty well. It's got really good balance. I mean, this thing feels pretty nimble. Yeah, this is nice. And for adventure, it's pretty easy to steer with the pegs. I haven't even played with the clickers yet. I like it. I like it. I'm really pleasantly surprised about the T7, and I'm really happy I took it out here today and just got a feel for what it can do, and just the beginning of that, what it's going to be like to tour with this bike. And this bike's pretty darn good. So just want to say thanks again for watching my video, and I look forward to hearing what folks have to say in the comments. And stay tuned as I provide more content for the T7 and how I modified it, and actually get it out there and do some adventures. Well, I just want to share a few more things about the T7. I've got about 63 miles on it now, and I just got to say, this is a cool motorcycle. It is really just a great ride, you know, just to cruise around on. I can tell that its dirt confidence is going to be really good, and it's just easy. It's got really nice, the suspension is plush, and so far I've not been disappointed with it in the stock setting. And no, I'm not pushing it hard, but I don't know, I think for adventure riding in a rhythm that is sustainable is a very important part of the adventure. And I'm excited. I do not miss all the electronics. This T7 simplicity is just very cool. All you're doing is riding a motorcycle. Yeah, quick shifter's probably pretty cool, but knowing how to use your clutch isn't a bad thing either.